Hi love, welcome back. In today's class you're making this beautiful mesh dress. If you're new to the channel, my name is Miss Ai and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love, thank you darling, thank you sweetheart for always coming back. Let's get right into class. To begin with, you are going to make a slip knot, and this is how I make my slip knots. After you're done making your slip knot, you're going to chain 17. I'm using a 4.5 mm hook. You're going to chain 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You are going to yarn over 2 times because you are making a treble crochet in the very first stitch. So inside the very first stitch you make a treble crochet. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again. You would have 2 remaining and yarn over, pull through all. So this is what you should be having. Now this is mesh row 1. Row 2, you are going to chain 17. So anytime you close off a circle or a mesh, we start with a chain of 17. So put that in mind. After you've made your 17 chains, make sure that you turn your work and don't work inside the treble crochet. So we are working inside the mesh stitch, right? So you're going to make a single crochet inside the mesh space. There you go. Now you are going to chain 11. So where the strand is, that is the top part of the work. So you are going to chain 11. And we are going to make a treble crochet in the same mesh space to close off row 2 of our mesh. There you go, and pull through all 2. So this is row 2 of our mesh, and we are going to row 3 of our mesh, and row 3 we would have 3 meshes, right? So row 3 again, you are going to start off by chaining 17. And you are going to turn your work. Always remember to turn your work and don't work in the treble crochet space. So you turn your work inside the very first mesh space. You are going to make a single crochet. You are going to chain 11. So 11 is the chain for the work. We only chain 17 at the beginning, and 17 counts as 11 chains and a treble. So make a single crochet in the next mesh space. You are going to chain 11 again. And we are going to make a treble crochet in the same mesh space. So always remember the last mesh contains 2, a single crochet, chain 11 and a treble crochet. This is what you should be having. Now row 4, you are going to chain 17. And turn your work again. You are going to make a single crochet in the very first mesh space. You are going to chain 11. Make a single crochet in the next mesh space. Chain 11. make a single crochet in the last mesh space, and you're going to chain 11 and make a treble. So this is what you should be having. If you are making for a size small or medium, this should be okay, but if you are making for a size large, consider adding one more mesh. But we are making for a size small, so I'm going to end here, and you're going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn, and you should be having something like this. You're going to go ahead and make the same exact mesh, and we shall connect those two panels together. And when you are cutting, make sure you leave a bit longer strand, because you are going to be using the very first panel strand to connect to the second panel strand. So to connect to the second panel, and to connect, you are going to count 5, and inside the seat stitch, that is where we are going to be making our slip stitch to connect the first panel to the second panel. So there you go. I just made space inside the seat stitch, and you are going to pull through, chain 1, and you're going to pull through to secure it. If you have a better way of connecting, please feel free and use that, but I assure you this method is safe. You just have to tighten your yarn, and if you use this method, you would barely know we have connected 2 panels. So you're going to go ahead and make the same exact panels, 2 meshes, and join them for the back or front panel, right? So in total you should have 4 panels connected together to form 2 panels. But when you are making your last panel, don't cut your yarn when you are done with your second panel, because you are going to use that to build up the body of our work. So this is what you should be having after the second panel. Feel free and arrange your panels, and this is where the strands would be, and also you have the middle and the sides. If this will confuse you, you can put a stitch marker on where the arms would be or the strands would be, and you can place a separate stitch marker at the middle of the work or where the middle would be. So what we are doing is the same thing as we did joining the middle. So you are going to count 6 stitches apart, and inside the seat stitch you are going to pull your yarn through, chain 1, and cut and fasten your work, and make sure you tighten it very well to secure it. So we've connected one side of our panel, and we are going to use the same exact method to connect the other side of our work. So to connect the other side, again you have to count 5, and inside the seat stitch you are going to insert your yarn and pull through and make a slip stitch or a chain 1, whichever way works. Now to start off with the body of the work, after connecting, you are going to chain 11. Now we are not going to be starting with 17. We are going to be working our 11 chains. Inside the very next stitch you are going to make a single crochet, chain 11 again, in the next mesh stitch you are going to make a single crochet, or in the next mesh spaces. So chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh space, chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh space, chain 11, now it brings us to the middle, so make a single crochet in the next mesh space, and this is what your work should be looking like. You're going to go ahead and chain 11, make a single crochet in the mesh space, chain 11, single crochet in the mesh space all around until you get to where you started from, or the beginning. So this is where I began. So inside the last stitch I have made my single crochet and chain 11. Now we are going to make a single crochet inside the same space where we started off with our chain 11. So go into that stitch and make a single crochet. Now we are going to be working slip stitches, so you are going to make 6 slip stitches until you are at the top of your mesh or your chain 11. So the reason why we are making 6 stitches is because 6 stitches brings us to the middle, so 11 is 5 5 and then the middle. So inside the 6th stitch I'm going to make 6 slip stitches, and now I'm at the middle, and now you're going to chain 11 again. So when you get to the middle of your mesh space, you're going to chain 11, make a single crochet in the very next mesh space. So from here you can place a stitch marker at the beginning, your very first chain 11, so you would know where to place your single crochet. It helps because sometimes you might forget, because it's a mesh stitch, you might forget and jump. So just place a stitch marker where you would be making your single crochet. So now chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh stitch, chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh stitch, and this is pretty much the pattern for row 2 of the body. So you're going to go round until you get to the stitch marker space, and I'll meet you there. At this point, my love, my darling, my baby, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you've made it up until this point, please do. This is the little you can do to help the channel grow. And if you're a returning subscriber and you've made it up until this point, leave us a heart sign under the comment section. It's always nice to see. So I'm at the stitch marker space and I've chained 11. Take off the stitch marker, and inside that very stitch where you made your 11, you chain 11, you're going to place a single crochet. Now again you're going to make your 6 slip stitches, so slip stitch in each stitch until you get to the 6th stitch, and the 6th stitch bring us to the middle of our work, and we are going to chain 11. Place your stitch marker back, make a single crochet in the very next stitch, chain 11, make a single crochet in the next stitch, in the next mesh space, chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh space, and you're going to keep repeating this until the end of the row, until you get to where the stitch marker is. I'm at my stitch marker space and I'll chain my last 11 and make a single crochet. Take off your stitch marker. You are going to work your slip stitches, so make 6 slip stitches until you are at the middle of your work. And you are going to chain 11. So this is row 4 of our mesh. You are going to chain 11, make a single crochet in the next mesh space, place back your stitch marker. Don't forget, always place back your stitch marker, and you are going to go around repeating row 1 of the body until you get your desired length for the dress. If you want it a mini dress, then just take your body measurement and make a mini dress, and if you want it maxi, just keep building and building and building. At this point, this is what you are going to keep repeating until you get your desired length. So I'm going to keep working and I'll meet you when I have my desired length for the dress. So I'm back and this is what I have, and I made a maxi dress, very long, and this is what it's looking like. Now we are going to be making the strands, and to make the strands you are going to insert your hook in the very stitch before the middle, the very stitch before the where the strand is, and you are going to attach your yarn. So make a slip stitch and pull through. You are going to chain 3, count as your first double crochet. In the middle stitch or where the strand is, you are going to make a double crochet, and in the next stitch you are going to make a double crochet. So in total you should have 3 double crochets. You are going to chain 2, make a double crochet in the next stitch and make a double crochet in the last stitch. Chain 2, turn your work, make a double crochet in the next stitch, and in the last stitch make a double crochet. So this is how we are going to be building the strand, and the strand we are only going to be making 14 rows. So row 4, chain 2 again, make a double crochet in the middle and make a double crochet in the last. Chain 4, chain 2, turn your work, make a double crochet in the middle and make a double crochet in the last. So I'm done with my 14 rows of double crochet, and this is what the work is looking like. Now we are going to be attaching it with onto the back panel. So the same as we worked, that's the same as we would attach the strand. So the very stitch before the middle, that's where you would attach. Now you insert your hook in the next stitch of the double crochet and also in the middle stitch and make a slip stitch. And now in the last stitch and in the last or in the next stitch before the middle, you would make a slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 1 or 2, cut and fasten your yarn. So this is how to attach the strands, and you are going to repeat the same exact process for the other side of the work. So you should be having something like this. Don't worry about the loose ends. I'm going to be working it through as we make the borders for our neckline, and we will not see these borders. I don't want to be cutting the yarn. I just don't want to do anything. I want to sew in as I work, so don't worry. But if this is a distraction for you, please kindly fasten your yarn before you move to the next step. But if this is not a distraction, that's totally fine. So now you are going to turn your work to the back panel, to the back, so you know where you would choose as your back and the front. So after turning, just inside the middle stitch, you are going to attach your yarn, chain 2 and make a single crochet. Inside the mesh space, make a single crochet again. So you have 2 single crochet inside the mesh space. You are going to chain 4, and inside the very first stitch you are going to make a slip stitch. You are going to again make 3 single crochets in the same mesh space. So where there is bigger mesh spaces, you are going to make 9 single crochets, and is make 3 single crochet, chain 4, and inside the very first stitch you are going to make a slip stitch. Now make a single crochet. So this all depends on how big your tension or your spaces are. You can choose to make 3 single crochet and the chain 4, and 3 single crochet in the same stitch. Like in a mesh space, you can choose to make 9 single crochet, and in the smaller spaces you can choose to make 3 single crochets. But remember that after the 3rd single crochet you are going to chain 4, and you are going to make a slip stitch in the very first space. One, two, 3 single crochets. You are going to chain 4 and make a single crochet in the first stitch. Again, make your 3 single crochets, chain 4 and make chain 4 and make a slip stitch inside the very first stitch. So this is the pattern. You are going to keep repeating this all around until where you started from. So keep working your single crochets, 3 single crochet, chain 4 and make a slip stitch inside the very first stitch, and keep repeating this. Now I'm at the strands, and with the strands we are going to be calculating it a bit different. So with the strands, each strand is going to contain 2 single crochets. So make your 4 chains and slip stitch. So that's one inside the row 1 of the strand. So you're going to add another single crochet to the row 2, and the row 3 would complete the last single crochet. Now you're going to chain 4 and make a slip stitch. So each strand would contain 2 single crochets. So the third one will go into the next row. I don't know if you understand, but just watch the video. It consists of 3 single crochet and chain 4 and a slip stitch in the very first stitch. So this is how you're going to repeat all over until the end of the row, and I'll meet you at the end or the beginning of my row. So as I'm working, you would see I'm pretty much cutting off the strands, clearing everything, so it will be nice. So I'm sewing in and I'm cutting at the same time. So you should do that so your work would be coming out more finer and more nicer as you do this. I'm at the end of the row, and you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 2 space. So after my last single crochet, you're going to make a slip stitch on top of the chain 2 space, chain 1 or 2, cut and fasten your yarn. So for the most part, we are pretty much done with our top, and we are going to be doing around the arm with the same thing as we did around the neck. So you're going to attach your yarn in the middle stitch, like where you joined your yarn from the armpit area, and you're going to chain 2 and chain 2 count as your first single crochet. So you're going to place 2 more single crochets in the mesh space, and you're going to chain 4 and make a single slip stitch in the very first chain. You're going to make 3 single crochets in the same mesh, and you're going to chain 4 and make a slip stitch, and you're going to make 3 single crochets again in the same mesh, and you're going to chain 4 and make a single crochet, a slip stitch. Now it brings us to the next mesh space, which is our trebles, and with this you are going to only make 3 single crochets, and you are going to chain 4 and make your slip stitch. So it brings us again to the big mesh space, and with a big mesh space you are going to place 9 single crochets, and the 9 single crochets would contain 3 chain 4, right? So after every third single crochet you're going to chain 4 and make a single crochet. So you're going to go around all the arm the same as we did for the neckline, and when you are done with this you are going to repeat the same for the other side of the arm. Make sure as you are working you work through your loose end, cut and fasten your yarn if possible, so you would come off with a very neat work. So go ahead and make this, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my work. And this is my work. I'm done. This is how it came out. It's looking so beautiful. I'm going to show you how to make the flower in the next video. Just leave me a comment under the comment section if you want to know how to make the flower. Until we meet next week,